I'm using my hands this week to talk. Hello, Benjamin. This week, my question, since we're returning to questions after finishing the book and article discussion, is what does it mean to have faith? As that word is used in the New Testament by Jesus and his apostles and other early followers. We find this word faith being used a lot in the Gospels, like Jesus saying to people after he's healed them, your faith has healed you. Or there's one time when he says, don't be afraid, just believe, which I think is maybe a different version of the same Greek word, I don't know. And he says that to a man who he's walking with as he's going to go heal the man's daughter, right after the man receives news that his daughter has died. And he responds, Lord, I believe, but help my unbelief. But anyways, this word is used also by the Apostle Paul famously to talk about how we are saved through faith, and it's also used in other situations throughout the New Testament. But there's this idea of faith being connected to receiving healing, to entering the kingdom of God, to being saved, to being justified, these different ideas. But focusing in on what they have in common, what is faith? What does that mean in that context? Because we use the word faith in a variety of ways. We've, in our discussion about philosophy and whether to believe in God or the arguments for and against, have used the word faith as sort of a wider level, saying, even atheists have faith. Everyone puts their faith in something, and then they build a logical argument off of that thing, even though they can't prove that original thing. But that seems to be different than what we talk about when we are, if you can't tell by now, I'm actually recording over the audio and the visual of this are not lined up, because my microphone had issues when I recorded it originally. But anyways, what I'm talking about is that faith, as it's used in the New Testament, may be different than how we use the word in everyday speech. Also in the New Testament, there's this idea of faith perhaps being connected to obedience. At least we see in these passages Jesus talking about, not all who say to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven. And I imagine if someone's saying, Lord, Lord, and they were asked, did you have faith, or do you have faith? They would say, yes, of course I have faith in the Lord, 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 Lord. It would seem to me as though because they don't enter the kingdom of heaven, Jesus says, depart from me, I never knew you, in that passage, or says that he will say that, that they thought they had faith, but they didn't. So what is faith as it's talked about in the New Testament, and how do we know if we're having it or not? Questions for the week, and I think they're very practical and important questions to consider and to work through and to live through. Moving on from that, though, I also had what did I have? I had a fear, a profound fear. I have broken our 4-minute limit for these videos 5 different times, and I don't remember if we decided if we were going to invoke punishments for breaking the rules in this video teamwork effort thing that we're doing, because if we invoke some punishments ex post facto for those 5 times, I would be keen on learning what those punishments are, and I hope it's not depart from me, I never knew you. So, yes. What is faith as it's used in the New Testament? How do we know if we're having it or not? And are we going to invoke punishments ex post facto, if at all?